All right, let's go. Let's go. How is everybody doing on this fine Monday morning, huh? What do we got? 68 degrees outside, on way to a massive high of 72. Sunshine. Got to drive Matthias home today, otherwise it'd be a pretty easy going day. How's everybody doing here this morning? So late. I'm early. If I'm not here, if 12:04 is late, 12:02 is on time. So 12:03 is, we'll talk about it. Craig, yeah, I know, looking more and more likely for the rematch, right? Good. Jason, Ted, how you doing? So let's see. Who says, let's wrap it up. Give Mikko Reinhart time to rest. By the way, it's looking West will be done soon too. We need all the hands on deck. Yeah, right. Let Reinhart sit. It's a shame if he sits, he wouldn't be on the ice for us to clinch. But I have a feeling if we do win tonight, or when we do win tonight, I have a feeling the guys will have a little bit of a been here, done that type of celebration, right? Ted, what concerns do I have about facing Edmonton? Oh, I don't want to get too in depth about that just yet because we still got to win another game. I really don't want to get too deep in the weeds with that just yet. It's a bad look if we start losing games, and considering what we did against Edmonton last year after being 3-0, we'll probably have a week to talk about it, but I just don't want to. I don't want to get caught slipping there. Hey, David, how you doing? Green Loogie says, can we just take a moment to appreciate how awesome this whole season has been? The 3 years. We're one game away from every year Maurice has been here, we go to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, Chuck, every year he's been here, every year we've streamed the games. Just wild. Yo, Frosty, yo. Hungry, how you doing? RJ, you be there tonight? Oh, very good. Very good. Love it. Love it. David says, yeah, they won't touch the trophy. That's right. That's right. So Frosty says, is there a world out there where Marchand, Bennett, and Ekblad stay next season? Yes. Yes, it could happen. It could happen. But you're going to have to talk about Bennett taking less, Ekblad really taking less, Marchand taking less, and Rodriguez getting moved. That's what it would take, in my humble opinion. Ted says in his presser, Chucky said his response had nothing to do with intimidation. He said it's about standing up for teammates. Yes, exactly. Trey, everyone is starting. Vanacek is starting. No. Everyone is resting. Vanacek is starting. Now that I don't put in anybody else. We traded Drieger, right? Put in Cooper Black. No Vanacek. That's all we need is Carolina getting confidence. Don says, what do I think of the lineups? If everything stays the same, we're assuming Reinhart's not going to play, which is fine. Let him rest. Bolquist does his thing. And if Mikkola is out, you just put Kulikov up with Jones, I would think. Would you do Kulikov or Schmidt? It's a good question, actually. Might want to do Kulikov so that Schmidt can have the extra energy for the power plays. Greg says, we're getting a bit spoiled and you're okay with it. Yeah. Yeah, Frosty, the state of Florida has been running the league for five years. 5? Yeah. Pretty much, right? No, Ted, I got to drive Matthias home today. So he will not. It'll just be Matthias has to go home. Donna has to go home. So it'll just be old school Kyle and I. No dogs, no nothing. So that's how it'll be. David says Marshy's going nowhere and Bennett will stay for legacy if we're going for 3 in a row. Not sure y'all realize how rare this is. I think some of us do, right? Yeah. But we got to win our games. I mean, Edmonton, I don't want to get into it, but Edmonton is not going to be Carolina. We'll put it that way. Braves fan says put Barkov in net. Frost says it's not a coincidence that Tampa had their 3-year run and now Florida. Yeah, it's good stuff. Put the pads on Ekblad. DQ Blizzard's getting snuck in the locker room, right? Yeah, they stole my public sub shtick and made it and turned it into DK's Dairy Queen Blizzards. Ryan Reese says tonight's the same thing that happened 2 years ago. Panthers clinched the finals by sweeping the Canes. I hope for once, Ryan, I hope you're correct there. Right? I hope we need to finish this tonight. Like, show me that you learned the lessons. You know what I mean, Panthers? Show me that you learned the lessons from last time we got 3-0. Last time it was like, all right, we'll win it in 5. And then, no, that's not what happened. Guitarco says, I agree it's too early to talk finals. Imagine if we win tonight and Dallas wins tomorrow. Different vibes, right? I mean, Dallas looks like they're toast, but I would give Dallas much more of a chance to at least make it a series than Carolina at this point. Donna says it's Belinskas with Schmidt on the bottom pair, then Sturm centering the fourth line with Nosek on the left wing. Erod is then on the left wing, the first line with Jesper. Right. So Sturm centering the fourth. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense, Adonis. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I don't see any reason to rush those guys back. I feel pretty confident we can win. Win a game here without them. Balinska's going to have fresh legs. Sturm will have fresh legs. If those guys can't play. Vanish this afternoon, Jaws. I'm expecting the Canes to put up at least one, but I think we all know what's ahead for the Cup final. Oilers are ticked and want revenge. Best of luck tonight. Thank you, bud. Appreciate it. I kind of feel I'm hoping they finish this tonight. You just don't want to give Carolina life, and it's at home. You know what I mean? Finish this at home, right? Nothing like doing it at home. Yeah, Colin says maybe Sturm can finally break the Okposo curse. Yes. Do I watch Mitch? Hey, William, how you doing, buddy? Do I watch Mitch? No. Who's Mitch? Or do I want Mitch? Okay, my bad. I'm like, who's Mitch? Do I want Mitch Marner? No. The answer is the same. No. No interest. No interest. We got too many good guys as it is of our own that we're trying to re-sign. I see no benefit for us. Just sign Sam Iskevich. That's the deal. Ekblad on Blue Chew and net, right? Kenneth said, yeah, 2 years ago, beat Leafs, swept Hurricanes. Yeah, but we're not playing Vegas this time. So there's that. Eyes, I've been wearing this shirt the whole series, though, bud. I've been wearing this shirt the whole series for the noon stream, so we're good. We're good. Good says no Reinhardt, Greer, or Mikula on the upside. Let's see some fast legs from Sturm and Uvis tonight. Yeah, Frosty's asking would it be better to rest them? Trey says Sturm is playing. Well, it's 1-0 Carolina already. Nah, we'll be good. We'll be good. I says, damn, First Jaws gets 9,000 subs. Now you get 2 ads before the stream. YouTube's been going crazy because they know that hockey videos are getting a lot of views right now. I keep getting the same thing. You get the one long no skip ad, and then the second one you can skip. And they're all Geico commercials. My God. If I didn't have Geico, I would cancel. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean. Green Loogie says, I'm not thinking about the next series. I'm just enjoying the moments as they happen. Been truly great watching this incredible team's depth. Yeah, no doubt, man. Adonis says, do I actually feel the players can't handle winning with maturity and need to feel like their backs are against the wall? I mean, it's a tough question. I understand what you're saying. Certainly, this team has proven when their backs are up against the wall, they can elevate their level of play to a completely different planet, which is what we've basically done since we were down 3-1 in Game 3 to Toronto. So, and kind of like what we did last year after we lost the 2 games to the Rangers. Very, very similar there, right? So, it's not that I don't actually think that they get like overconfident and cocky about it. Well, the way Maurice has described it a few times makes sense to me, where they try to win the game on every shift. You know what I mean? They're trying to do it all on every shift, and they end up doing too much. I can buy that. There you go. David says, we are going to the finals and we are going to win. Exactly. Eyes, one of your ads was for Blue Chew. John says, I can see a world if Bennett did leave Florida that his career would crashing down to the level he was in Calgary. Bennett and Ekblad both signed $7 million per year, and we are set. No, that's too much money for Ekblad. We only have $19 million. So if you give Ekblad and Bennett 14, that leaves $5 million for a backup goalie, Sam Miskevich, a defenseman, and 2 fourth-liners. Maybe. Yeah. That's like minimum wage. That's like maybe you could get Alex Lyon for minimum wage. What's his deal? That'd be really tight to do that. Who says, I feel it with the shirt, Jaws. It may not be the most sanitary, but I've worn the same shirt and shorts for each game this series. The superstitions are crazy. Yep, I put that green shirt on, and it is not getting taken off or watched, right? Oh, yeah, David, you do ad-free for YouTube? Yeah. 60 minutes, you could pay 15% or more on hockey insurance, right? Ryan says, I might need a new shirt after the Panthers clinch. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I can't wear the shirt I wore last year because I had to retire that shirt because that's the shirt I was laying on the floor with Fluffy with. I wore it one time this year and we got obliterated. So I was okay, no, that's retired. I don't want to play around with that one. So we'll see. Generally, I like to wear the same shirt till we lose a game. IDK says, I don't feel confident with Sturm and Balinskis. Super long-term, no. But for a game, I feel okay. I feel okay with them for a game, IDK. Oh, Trey says he's starting to get a tie ad now. Yeah. I says my computer's listening when I say I have trouble getting up in the morning. It's not what I meant, YouTube. Hey, Dietrich. Yeah, Colin, thanks for bringing that up. Anderson is back in net for the Canes. That makes sense. That makes sense for sure. Trey says, I mean, it could happen. Lyon went out to spread his wings, found out he's still a backup. Better being a backup here than in Detroit. Yeah, if you could get Lyon, I mean, but If we got 19 million, I still would feel like I'd still wouldn't mind moving Rodriguez if you could sign Marchand. But how come Ekman can't just take $2 million? What's the problem? I don't understand what the problem is. Come on, Aaron. You'll make your money back by being a hometown Panther legend. You'll never have to pay for dinner anywhere you go. Just eat out all 3 meals every day, so you won't have to buy any food. That'll save you some money, right? Come on, dude. Hey, Pente, how you doing, bud? William says, I'm getting sick of buying Eastern Conference Champions shirts. Oh, yeah. Maybe next year's hat, maybe my hat next year won't say Florida Panthers. Maybe next year's Stanley Cup Championship hat will actually say Florida Panthers. We have to get another hat. Which, by the way, Pente says Belinskas shouldn't play. I'm not impressed with him at all. I mean, I get it. I get it. He's not been spectacular at times, but at times he's been solid enough. So, which, by the way, which one of you is volunteering to kidnap Chucky? Because they owe me a picture with the cup. I have a feeling they're not going to come willingly. So a couple of you are going to need to, like, when they're out there with the cup, just, I'll pay for the van rental. All right? You just rent the van. Chucky, come here. Let me show you something. Boom, right in the van with the cup. And then just drive them here. And I'm sure he'd be willing to take a picture under those circumstances. Axel says, hopefully Belinskas is invisible. Yes, I'll agree there. Brian says, not going to lie, I'm a little doomy about the Oilers. Tough to beat a team twice in the Cup final back-to-back. No disagreement there. Steven, definitely no Marner, no Tarasenko. We don't need anybody. We don't need any of those guys. We've got more guys than we know what to do with as it is. Sun's fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I'm actually glad. That they're not glad that they're out, but let them rest. What I'm glad about is they're not rushing them back out there to maybe further injure themselves. You know what I mean? I have a feeling it's tactical in nature, that you give these guys a little bit of extra rest under the assumption we can win a game without them, and then they'd have all that extra time before the Stanley Cup final. That's my take. Yeah, Steven. No, I appreciate the question, Steven. I get it. It's just we've got. I mean, even if we don't re-sign Marchand right now, going into next year, Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luostarinen, Rodriguez. Like, the top 9 is done. You know what I mean? In my opinion, the only reason we would, do anything different is if you could move Rodriguez to sign Marchand. I love Erod, but that would be the only thing I would really see even possibly happening, because they're not going to let Samoskevich go because they don't want to make me mad. I'm in too good of a mood. Oh, hey, the Checkers are playing the Canadiens AHL team in the conference finals. We almost had to pay Devon Levi's team. Or play his team. Kutz says the lineup changes aren't too bad at a glance. We just won without Reinhart, and we won games against Tampa with Sturm and Uvis, while it was Ekblad missing instead of Meeks. Yeah, I mean, all Kulikov did was save a goal and start the rush on Reinhart's Stanley Cup winning goal. I think, I'll trust Kulikov. We're good. You know what I mean? Anytime we've needed him to step up and play well in somebody's absence, he has. So I got no big concerns there. And, Sturm hasn't seen Carolina hasn't seen Sturm yet. So if Sturm struggles even a little bit in the faceoff circle, you just have Nosek take the faceoffs. But remember when Nosek played wing for that half of a game with Barkov, he was just fine. Craig says the only way I'd be okay with losing Erod would be to a Western team. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I don't get me wrong, right? But if you could re-sign Marchand, that would be the thing. William says, "Would I mind if Huberdeau signs back?" Nah, his contract is for forever anyway, right? Again, I don't know where we'd put him. I don't know even you know what I mean. His contract is done. Pente says Cats are favorites against the Oilers in the finals. Well, if we get there, I mean, I guess defending champs and the fact we played so well on the road, right? Hey, Dana, how you doing? Dana says, "Damn, Marie says they're good and now they're out." You knew that was going to happen. Like I said, I kind of feel like it's tactical. Like they could play if it was a game 7, but let them get some rest. We've got so much depth. This is what we got all that depth for, so that we don't have to run guys out there. You know, if Mikla's got a little bit of a sprain, a little bit of a strain, you know what I mean? We got a 3-0 series lead. If you're talking about wanting to win a cup again, you don't want him getting hurt to a point where it's really going to, really ding him long term over the course of the finals. Do we have a Dairy Queen here? No, not in town. No, we have a Starbucks. We have another place called the Freeze, where they do like cheeseburgers, hot dogs, sundaes, desserts, stuff like that. Sunshine, yeah, I don't want them targeting Mikkola especially. Yeah, it's just a shame he won't be on the ice should we win, but it's still Kulikov out there, right? I feel bad for Greer, but you could kind of tell when he came back on the ice and he turned to the left, and that you could tell his ribs were sore. Hey, George. Kenneth says next year's Panthers start season 6-15-1, just so you see the light switch before the playoffs. John says against the Cats, Skinner will be a liability. I can see him getting blown out in at least 2 games. He's so hot and cold. Green Luigi says, I could see Paul pushing these guys back on the ice quicker if this Carolina team was more of a threat, saving bodies for a Stanley Cup final. Right. So Adonis says Lion made $900,000 this season, but considering he had a decent year, he might want a little bit more to come back. Pente thinks the Oilers aren't as good as they were last year. They're still dangerous. Well, yeah, I mean, geez. I mean, no other team has, obviously, with the McDavid and Draisaitl thing. I mean, dangerous is the right word. And Corey Perry's a massive pain in the ass. Hey, Nick, happy Memorial Day, bud. Yeah, David, happy Memorial Day. Thanks to all who never came home. Yeah, thank you for that, David. Nick, no Marner. We don't. Marner is Huberdeau. Marner is a little bit of an improvement over Huberdeau. It's the same player, in my opinion, just a little bit better. And what I mean by is, no, I'm not saying their game is the exact same thing. I'm just saying that the lack of playoff prowess, the energy that they bring kind of reminds me, Marner kind of reminds me of Huberdeau. William is talking about would I mind if he signed a 1 day? Oh, I see what you're saying, William. Okay, about Huberto. I don't know. I mean, would I mind it necessarily? No. Could I see him coming back, on the last year of his deal when he's an old man trying to finally win a cup, right? Maybe. But I see what you're saying to retire as a Panther. I don't know, man. The feeling between him and Zito, that ship might have sailed a little bit there. You know what I mean? I didn't hear anything, Trade. It's a good question about Connor Brown. Sunshine says Maurice is saving guys for the finals. Don't want a Vegas repeat. Yeah, exactly. David. Oh, no, there's no Dairy Queen here. I know it's very, very small. Like the actual town I live in, the population is under 300. Now, Chestertown is about 12 minutes away, and there's about 20,000 people there, but just not enough to we have a movie theater. Hey, Colby. We'll be fine, man. We'll be fine. Trey, even the town in West Virginia where my family has a cabin, the town that has less people than my high school has a DQ. Now you guys know why my internet sucks, right? Will, you would love to see his number retired? I don't know. I just don't see it really happening because he didn't really win anything here. And then now that we will have won at least 3 cups in a row, right? Without him, I just don't think they'll do it. I get the sentiment. Only if he was to he'd have to come back like Kulikov and win a cup here. That would be the way he would do it. Oh, Sonic. We don't have a Sonic here either. Damien, you're saying you heard that us in Vegas are interested in Marner? Yeah, Late Vegas had him. I'm with Axu. That's got to be just a blatant lie of a rumor. Because where and why? What are you going to do? Let Sam Iskevich go and put his Marner there? Marner left or right? Is he left? Can he play both sides? Or is he stuck on one side? Donna says the 5 versus 5 is what I'm confident in to win another cup. Everybody says we had an easy path so far in the postseason. I don't understand people saying that. Yeah, I agree with Brian and John Marner. Get his points in the regular season, but that's about it. Kenneth says McDavid contract ends next season and the whole NHL could get thrown on its head if he goes somewhere. If they don't win, he might, you think? I hear 20 million is a possibility for him. Jeez. Hey, John, what is Hamburger Hut? How you doing, buddy? Oh, Hamburger Hut. Oh, man. You walk in and it's fast food, but they cook it there in front of you and they grill it. They got the big open grill. And the buns are maybe not quite the size of the inside of a hat, but not that far off. The buns were massive like this. And it'd be this big slab of, it wasn't even like a burger. It was, but the burger filled the bun. And they'd fry it right up there for you on the grill. And you'd have all the mustard and the mayonnaise and the squirt bottles and it's flying all over the place and pickles and cheese and lettuce and onions. Oh my God, they were freaking good. Oh, now I'm hungry. Trey, the town is growing. The population is 2,300. George says, Marner's probably going to one of those teams that are a bubble like they were in the playoffs last year, but not this year, or barely got in like New Jersey, New York, or Vancouver. Marner seems like the kind of guy the Rangers would sign. Marner seems like that's the guy. That seems like a fit. Yep. Oh my God. Trey says McJesus to Montreal. Holy crap. Hey, Jordan. Adonis says, is Corey Perry overhated? I don't think so. You don't play like a 40-year-old. I know Trey, that's Trey's uncle. He's too old to be Trey's son. So it's Trey's uncle. Damien says if we don't sign Ekblad and Bennett, we would sign Marner to 7 years, 12 and a half. Nah, man, that's an agent making something up. That's no way. That would just be dumb to do that. We have no reason. We have no need for him. And we don't even have that. I mean, you're gonna let both of those guys go for Marner? That sounds like agents picking their noses. Pente says if Zito tries to get Marner, I want him fired ASAP. Trey says Spencer, West Virginia has a movie theater too. Only one screen. Movies there for 2 weeks at a time. Oldest movie theater in the country. Wow, it's got balcony seating. Yeah, ours has got, I don't know, 4 or 5 theaters. We've got the recliner seats. So you can sit in the first few rows with the big cushy recliners. So that's nice. I haven't been in a few years, though. Damien, so he's right wing. So then that's Reinhardt's job and Chucky's job, right? I can't imagine they would want him, but stranger things. Brian says Bob, Chucky, Barkov, Ek, Forsey, Reinhardt, Swaggy all get number retired. If they keep winning cups, right? Hungry says, I think that's just wishful thinking by a Leafs fan that's thinking if we sign Marner, they'll get Bennett. I can't imagine Zito going out and paying somebody $12 million when you already had Reinhardt, Forsling, Verhaeghe sign deals that were less team-friendly deals. You know what I mean? I can't imagine. And don't forget, we got to figure out what we're going to do with Bob. I still remain convinced that he's going to get an extension this summer so that we don't go into next season with all of the questions about his contract. I'm thoroughly convinced that's going to happen with no evidence other than my brain. Good says, no, hold on, Jaws. Let's feign interest in Marner so that a potential cup contender offers him more and hinders themselves against the cap. I don't want Bill to get the wrong idea, Coot. That's the problem. That's the problem. Last time I started talking about making a deal, you know what I mean? I woke up the next morning and the son of a bitch had done it. I don't want Bill getting the wrong idea. Oh, yeah, David, the West Virginia Blue Ridge Mountains, no doubt. Trey says your 37-40 would be your brother. It can't be your uncle? Hold on a sec. What if it's like step-uncle? My uncle wasn't that much older than I am because my mom, right? The uncle can still be 40. The uncle can be 40, right? If there's a big gap in the ages of the kids, right? It's Uncle Corey. Uncle Corey sounds better, Trey. Oh, Green, there's a seasonal drive-in. That's pretty cool. Oh, they just closed the drive-in at the swap shop. That thing had still been open? Wow. I remember one time when I was first starting to sell on eBay, I went to that swap shop and I bought 2,000 pairs of isotoner gloves, and I got them for $200. I paid like a dime, whatever it is, a dime, whatever the hell it was. It was 2,000 pairs for $200. Some guy had They was real. They were real. But how many isotonic gloves are you going to sell down there in Sunrise, right? And he just emptied them. And he had, cases and cases of them. And I'm like, how much for all the gloves? And he's like, 200. I'm like, just gone. Don't even unpack the truck. I'll back my van up. We made a killing on those. You're talking 2000. I think it was before 9/11. George says, you can tell the Marner does care about playing. It's just that where he's at and everything got to him, and I don't mean the fans or whatever. Yeah, George, I don't disagree with you to an extent. But even if he had proven himself in the playoffs, I just don't believe that Zito would go out there and break our salary cap situation by overpaying for a guy like that. I just don't feel like that would be a Zito move. Yeah, the swap shop's going downhill. I mean, that place was old. I mean, it's been around for such a long time. I'm shocked to hear it's still there. Damien says, do I want to sign McDavid and let Bob walk, or sign McCarr and re-sign Bob? Those are options? Those are options? No. I mean, McDavid's going to get 20, I think. Damien, I think Bob's going to get a 2-year extension of about $6 million, maybe a little bit more, but not by much. I don't think he's going to get, we can't extend him 2 times 10. I would hope not. Could be wrong, but that's just my hopeful opinion that he's going to stay on for an extra couple of years, take a little bit less money to help keep the team together and help us make sure that he's got a suitable backup goalie too. David says your guy still gets the trucks tinted there, but it's going away. The land's worth too much. Yeah, that makes sense. Adam says we downgraded the Hurricanes to a tropical depression and hopefully down to a tropical wave tonight, right? Yeah, McDavid's not right. Yeah, I can't imagine a scenario where they would let McDavid go. The fan base would burn down the city, right? McDavid to the Kings. Damien, I believe it's 19 and Damien, I believe it's 19.5 million, but I'll look. We may as well. It's Sunday because it's Monday. Here we go. All right, let's see. What do we have? Panthers. 19 million. Projected cap space is 19 million. So that's what we've got. And out of that, you got to sign Bennett, Ekblad, Samoskevich, a backup goalie, one of the centers, for on the fourth, one of the fourth liners, I believe. And I don't think Schmidt has a contract. Kulikov does. So you've got about 5-6 guys that you got to sign with that 19 million. Hey, Lucas is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Rats on the ice. You'll be at the game. Fantastic, bud. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Hey, communist. Next year's free agency. Yeah, that's what I mean. We've got Kenneth says, how about no backup goalie? Bob has kids. He'd rather work every day. Don't give Bob any ideas. Who was it that we were looking at the other day? It was Brodeur with the Devils, right? Like some years he only took like 5 games, 7 games off. Ray says everyone takes minimum pay. Yeah. That's the thing about the Seth Jones contract that changed things up quite a bit. But who knows? Like we said, I have a feeling they already know long ago, because we haven't even heard any talking about negotiating with Ekblad. So either they already know A, they're letting him walk, or B, that Ekblad's just going to take a tremendous pay cut to stay. I mean, you could if you could get Bennett for 7, if you could get Bennett for 7 and Ekblad for 5, you're in good shape. When you start going higher than that, now you're really going to have a little bit of a thin at the bottom. Sergio says, "Are the Oilers this good, or is Dallas overrated again?" I don't think the Oilers have faced the defense remotely close to Florida. Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, the Oilers are good, just like the Panthers are good, but maybe Carolina was a little bit over, right? Carolina's, I mean, their path to the finals, to the conference finals, wasn't exactly, all that difficult, right? New Jersey was never going to win with all their injuries. And Washington and Carolina both kind of overachieved, but there was nobody else in that division, Adam says if they keep Aaron, he's got to take a pay cut after the drug suspension. Damon, projected cap space for 26-27 free agency is 42.6, but that's because you take Bob's contract off, and none of the contracts that we need to sign for guys now are on there. Sunshine says last year's trip to the finals has to be the hardest goalie gauntlet in recent history. Yes, so you're talking about Vasilevsky, and then Swayman Olmark, and then Igor. That's pretty rough. Steven, I believe Bob's going to stay. I think he's going to extend for a couple of years. Not at $10 million. I would assume not at $10 million. I don't know. Damien says Bob signs 2 times 6. That's what I'm hoping for. That seems like it would make sense for everybody, because when we traded Spencer Knight, that's what Maurice said. He said the future of the Panthers, when they asked him about the future goalie, he said the future of Panthers is Sergei Bobrovsky. So Bubba plans on sticking around for a while. George says, that's hilarious. You go through all of them, and then they go against Skinner, right? I mean, eventually he's going to get himself a decent reputation, though. I mean, his numbers during the regular season is obviously not all that great. But when he plays well, he's pretty good in the playoffs anyway. Leafs have $28 million this year. Going to be a lot of overplayed players, my God. But that's because they're letting Marner obviously walk. So, that's going to be an issue with some of our players. Are they going to try to take Bennett and Ekblad? Jesus. Oh, my God. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Kenneth, what if you guys get Bennett and Ekblad and then we still beat you again next year in the playoffs? What about then? I don't even know that the fan base can survive that. David says, you got to remember, Bob doesn't need the money anymore. Legacy is huge when you're already rich, or so I've heard. Trey says, the cap goes up even more after next year, too, so Bob might get something like 8, but it will feel like 6 does. Gotcha. David says, remember when they mocked us for Bob's contract? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, the first couple of years were rough. And now, obviously, worth every dollar, every one of those $10 million that I spent. Right? All right, so yeah, the Leafs need to sign Nyes. Yeah. I wonder how much you guys think Nyes is going to get. Yeah, Trey says we mocked us for Bob's contract. It was, $10 million back then. That was a big deal. That's the only way we were going to get a top-notch goalie, you know. Comments, you think, yeah, 7 to 9, right? So if they give them 9, that still leaves them what, with 18? David says Leafs need the big guy from Vegas, got to get tougher. Kenneth says the Leafs will take Bennett and Marchand, trade Wool and Carlo to Nashville for Marshall. So Nyes will get 7 to 9, and we'll use Stolars and Hill to be in net. Oh, would Marchand go to Toronto? Yeah. Trade Wool and Carlo to Nashville for Marshall. So it, huh. Huh. I don't know. Marcel's not a young kid anymore. Playoff performer, I get it. Can you imagine that? Is that a whole new line? Bennett with Marchand and Marchessault? David. Well, yeah, remember when goalie was our issue, right? Yeah, remember the year before we won the President's Trophy. Well, the year when we did win the President's Trophy, we didn't even know who the hell the starter was. We kind of knew it was Bob because of the money, but was that the President's Trophy season? No, it was the year before. It was the year before we won the President's Trophy season when we took Tampa to 6 with 3 goalies. Damien says some people will be trade. Yes, some people want us to trade Rodriguez to free up more cap space. If it could mean Marchand. Like, for me, if I had my choice of only 2 things, like Bennett and Ekblad or Bennett and Marchand, ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know if I can make that decision. Dave says when Bees are leaving, the Bob was a long stretch. Well, don't forget Luongo, though. Don't leave out Luongo coming back, right? Steven, you'd rather keep Ekblad? I don't want to agree with you, but I don't want to agree with you. That doesn't mean I don't agree. Yeah, Lou. Yeah. Kenny says you got to take because Panthers only going to have like 4 days between Cup Game and 7 of free agency, right? Trey says if I was running the Leafs, I would snipe Bennett, Marchand, and Mackey. Then I'm ignoring Matthews' no move like the Rags did with Trouba and sending him to LA for Byfield and Clark. Oh my God. Not Mackey, man. No, that can't happen. That can't happen. Adam, it looks like none of the guys are playing right now in terms of Reinhart, Mikla, and Greer. It looks like all 3 are out tonight. And I think we're all kind of fine with that. Let those guys rest and heal. No sense in sending them out there half dinged. I think we probably feel, yeah, like you're saying, let them rest. Yeah. David, are you rapping now? Is that's should we have a beat to, is there a beat to that, David? I ain't going to try to do it. I'm not trying. Jari says, Samo and Ballin, you're up. Well, if we lose Ekblad, you're still going to have Forsling, Jones, Mikula, blank, Kulikov, blank, right? As I think you want Kulikov on your bottom pair. So, could our scouts go out there and find another guy like Mikula? So John wants to know what's a realistic cap hit for Mackey. So going by what they did with Lundell and Luosterainen, especially Lundell. Lundell's the comparison because there's also a first-round draft pick. I believe Lundell's second contract, let me make sure I'm speaking correctly here, because I believe his second contract was 2 years at 1.5. Let me see. I don't want to have to pay, guys. Come on. Career earnings. Here we go. So I thought he had a second contract here. That's not what it's looking like here on Sport Track. Let me come back to the chat here. When I think about Mackey, I'm thinking two years by maybe 2.25. Well, 2 years by 2.25. Now that doesn't mean that another team wouldn't offer him more, but if he wants to stay and all of that, because I just don't think you can really afford to pay him a whole lot more. And he still needs, he had a really good year, but it's still just his first year and didn't stick around during the playoffs. So I would think that you give him a 2-year deal, 2.25, and that gives him a couple of years with hopefully Bennett and Tkachuk to prove at that point that he's worth. Remember, we just paid Lundell, and it's not like Lundell got a huge, huge deal. So I would think Mackey would want to take a 2-year deal because you're going to pay with Bennett and Tkachuk. And even if he's considering leaving elsewhere at some point, a couple of years of Bennett and Tkachuk would really help his numbers, so put it that way. Hey, big dog, you're not celebrating. No celebrating. The Braves, you think 2 by 1.5? Yeah, that would be low ball for me. I would think only because of what other teams might be willing to, call him up with. But I feel pretty confident that we're not going to have an issue there. Craig says Stankoven is a rookie. He's doing fine in the playoffs. And that's true. No disagreement there, Craig. I'm just going by what Maurice has said, and also, does Carolina have anybody else, right? Like, is he playing out of necessity that they don't have somebody else to play in that spot? Lundell is on year 3 of a 5x6. No. Hold on. He's on what? This was his first year. This is the first year. No, you're right. No. 23-24 was the first year. So year 2. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's on the second year. Comments, you're saying first year? I thought he was the first year, but I'm just looking at Sport Track, and it says here 23-24 was 5.9. Yeah, communist. I kind of agree with you there because I thought it was the first year too. Let me see if I can look up something else. We both remember it differently. Here's Puckpedia. So no, this is the first year, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Sport Track has got the wrong information. They've got the wrong information. This is the first year. And the contract he had before that, the cap hit was 925. So yeah, according to Puckpedia, it's his first year. Yeah, that's what I thought. Trey, that was his bumper deal. That was his bumper deal. He had come in on the ELC, and then he got another small deal, and then he got the big one. Kenneth, I think that's what happened. Yeah. That's what happened. Big Dog says, what's the first word that comes to mind when I think of Oilers? Double overtime. I know that's 2 words. Lots of overtime, I have a feeling. The NHL playoffs this year have been devoid, for the most part, of any serious overtimes. Panthers and Oilers, probably the 2 teams in the league the most difficult to beat. Trey says, can Lundy loan me $20? Anthony, how you doing, bud? Kulikov gets moved up with Jones. So we're solid there. And then it'll just be Schmidt and Balinskis. I wouldn't have minded seeing Megna, to be honest with you, but I guess he didn't play enough for Maurice to feel real comfortable that way. George says it would be cool to see a game go into like 5 overtimes. Yeah, 5 overtime, game 7. So they don't have to play again after that. All right, Kenneth, appreciate it. Yep, with that, Kenneth's got the right idea. All right, everybody, got to roll. I got to drive Matthias home. Thank you all for joining me. Much, much, much appreciated. And 8 o'clock, right? Marcy signed with Dairy Queen, true. Anthony, no. Reinhardt, they just have Boquist up at the top with Reinhardt, Anthony. Boquist was in his spot last time, so he's just staying there. Yep. All right, everybody, appreciate it all. We'll see you tonight, 8 o'clock. If you all want to bring your brooms, I guess it's legal now since it's 3-0. Hopefully the Panthers will prove tonight that they've learned their lesson about what to do with a team when they get up 3-0. All right, everybody, we'll see you tonight.